Hello, hello. Welcome to the latest edition of Falcons in Focus. I am Terrin Waack, joined per usual by Tori McElhaney, and our special guest today is not a player.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Yeah. We have special teams coach Marquice Williams.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you.
It's his first podcast.
Tori, Terrin, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
We are excited to have you here, first coach that we have in the chair of 2024.
Let's go.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Beyond excited.
Yeah. Okay,
well,
good.
before you're ready.
Surprised that you asked me.
That you're ready?
Yeah.
Or
well,
that
you
we
can't
asked-
be ready yet. I got to read this. Pause, and then I'll ask. As the official ticket marketplace of the Falcons and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Falcons at home or away, we all prefer home, Ticketmaster has you covered. Download the Ticketmaster app or find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Falcons. That's Ticketmaster.com/Falcons.
Woohoo!
In the Ticketmaster studio.
Yeah.
Here we are. Mm-hmm. Now, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you could wait that.
I was just trying to throw you off.
You did, clearly. I couldn't say marketplace. It's like, Mike. All righty. Well, how has it been so many years, and this is your first podcast? Come on now.
I don't know.
As a coach?
I've done a lot of press conferences.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Well, I'm just excited for the opportunity overall, just to get a chance to sit in here and talk with you guys, whether we're talking football, talking whatever you guys want to speak about. And again, I'm just very fortunate to be here with the Falcons. It's going on my fourth season, and I'm very excited. And this, obviously, we know around the building it's been exciting times, starting with our owner, Tori, and then having Coach Morris here. Is very blessed to be here. So I'm very, very privileged and very excited.
Mm-hmm. When I want to go back to when Raheem comes in, and it's funny because I've talked to Dwayne Ledford about where he was when Raheem called him and said, "Hey, I want you to stay here in Atlanta."
Yeah.
What's your story? Where were you? Because Dwayne Ledford was like in bed, had a Hulkamania shirt on, was watching 300, which to me screams offensive line coach. So
Yes.
So where were you? What were you doing when Raheem called you?
I was actually getting our kids ready for bedtime.
Yeah.
And got a call from him, and I kind of like just ran upstairs so I could take the call one-on-one. My family, my wife and kids were downstairs, and had that phone call with him, and it was exciting news to be able to, be back here and work with this organization, work with the players, and too to work with Coach Morris. I've known him from a distance. I've admired his career, admired who he is as a coach and as a person. And then to get the opportunity to work with him, that's something that, myself and then obviously my family, which we've been here in this area for over 3 years, that we could not pass up.
Yeah.
That's a massive dose of like adrenaline and good news at night. Did you sleep at all?
Yeah, I slept.
Okay, he's like, yep.
Honestly, at that point, the anxiety's gone. Like,
Yeah.
you know exactly
It's
what.
crashing.
It's like you could breathe for a little bit. So I went downstairs, told my wife, I was like, hey, we're good to go. And she's like, what'd he say? How'd he say it? And I had to give her the details.
Of course,
She
yeah.
wants everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then what you say? And then how did he say it?
Should have just recorded the phone call.
I know. I should have just put a speakerphone like, hey, Raheem, Liz is here.
She wants
Go
to
ahead.
know everything.
Yes. Give it a rundown. So it was very exciting to just get an opportunity to talk with, Terry and Raheem and get the ball rolling with this offseason. So we're very excited.
How excited was your son? Because I've heard he has an extensive Waack Koo jersey collection.
Yeah, he has every single one of them.
all colors, all designs.
Throwback.
Really?
The funny
The numbers too, right?
Oh yeah, numbers.
everything.
Yeah, I know. Our first year here, I think he was 3 at the time. I took him to a barbershop, and he's wearing the throwback number 7 jersey. So I take him to a barbershop, get a haircut, and all the dudes in there like, "Oh man, you got on that Mike Vick." He's like, "This ain't Mike Vick. This Waack Koo." So I was like, "Okay, I got to go home
Kickers matter
and teach
too.
him who else was number 7."
Yeah.
So I had to go on YouTube and show him all the Mike Vick highlights. So he's running around throwing the ball and stuff. So, but yeah, he loves Koo. I coached Koo with the Chargers, and then just fast forward just to be here with him. And yeah, my son, he's a football freak. He loves it. My oldest daughter, Eliana, too, she loves football. I always catch her watching like top 10 highlights, top 10 biggest runs and stuff like that. So when it comes to draft and any type of acquisitions, they're all about it. I'm usually the first ones to tell them. I tell them, like my oldest daughter and my son, who we got and who we picked up during off season.
Oh, so that's who I need to get in with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's who we need to talk to. They have the news. So you actually have a very interesting. I'm glad that we're talking to you today because this is very topical. But you have a very interesting challenge ahead of you going into the 2024 year because of the kickoff rule changes. How do you kind of approach that? Do you dive into certain types of film? What are you looking at? How are your gears turning as you get the news that this is a significant change that's happening?
It's been crazy because this play's changed since I've been in the NFL since 2016 about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
I want to say six times since 2016. So just seeing the play change throughout these years, and prior to that, it's only changed a handful of times prior to the beginning of the NFL. Going into this offseason, I think is big for us as a team because it's bringing the play back. Last year I went to the Super Bowl, and there was the first time Super Bowl history that there was 0 kickoff returns in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Wow.
So, last year we heard rumblings that this was probably going to change. And then going into this offseason, talking to all the 31 other coordinators and talking about what can we do to bring this play back. And it's exciting because it's going to create value for the returners, it's going to create value for the kicker, the core players. And, to us in the room, the special teams room, like downstairs, it's the first play on offense as the return team. It's the first play on defense as a coverage unit. So going into this offseason, we're looking at, okay, how can we best complement our players?
Yeah.
Like people ask me, like, what's our scheme? Our scheme is our players. So whatever our players do best, we're going to put them in best position. Whatever Bradley and Koo could do kickoff-wise, put in the best position for us, and then we correlate that with our coverage units. And then, flipping on the other side, our returners. We're very blessed to have multiple returners with Avery coming back, which is a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Ray's in the building. Mike Hughes, who's had a really good career in college at UCF as a kickoff returner. D. Alford, who stepped up last year for us. Tyler Allgeier's done it before. Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of guys that can do it. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And now it's just getting our guys in a position to let them be successful, create momentum for our offense, create momentum for our defense. But at the end of the day, it's teaching blocking, tackling, getting off blocks, and securing the football.
Yeah, you make such a good point, too, about how this play was essentially out of the game for a little bit. I mean, it was very rare that you saw a kickoff return. I mean, just honestly. And when it comes to the fact that y'all now get to insert so much strategy into now the play itself, because of the rule change, you now get to experiment a little bit and try and figure out best ways to do it, like how it flows within a game scenario. And it's kind of, this is a guinea pig year for it almost. Yeah. How excited are you to kind of, as a coach, as a teacher, to be able to flex the strategic mind a little bit more than you have been in the past?
Yes, that's big because, last year they implemented the fair catch rule, which kind of took the strategy out of it because you could show one way, kick the other way, move guys around, and the other team could be like, we're not messing with this. Fair catch.
Yeah.
So now to get back into that and find ways, Tori, to put our guys in different positions, it's exciting. Yes, there is a lot of unknowns, and there's going to be a lot of tweaks as we go about it. But I feel our room, we're going to embrace it.
Yeah.
And it creates opportunities. With unknown situations, it allows for great growth. Individually as a coach, our players, and in our team. And it's going to create a lot of opportunities for our players, for other players throughout the NFL. And I think it's going to be exciting.
Just hearing you talk about this subject alone makes the fact that I read online that you never wanted to be a coach before you became a coach mind-blowing because you're obviously so passionate about it. Why didn't you want to be a coach? What did you want to be, and when did it switch?
Oh, my, this is a great story.
Yeah.
So I graduated. I finished playing football at University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota. That's where I met my wife. She's my girlfriend at the time. She played soccer there when I played football. Her name's
Athlete
Liz.
couple.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's the better athlete? Wait.
Man.
Answer right.
She is.
Right.
Yeah.
Would it have been that answer if you didn't say answer right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna answer her right. She's gonna watch this.
Right, yeah.
Liz, I'm looking at the camera. You're the better athlete. I ain't gonna front. She was an all-state soccer player. I went to her house when we were in undergrad, and I saw the trophies. I'm like, yeah, I don't have all these.
The reason why I asked that because I have met Liz, and I know, like, I've looked into her background. I was like, she could kick some.
Yeah, she's
a
beast.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
We're going to pause on my trifecta question, because I did see on your Instagram the photo you always post for your anniversary. You're in a toga. Where is that party?
Wait, what's the picture?
He's in a toga
I don't even know what
with
she's
his
talking
wife.
about.
You don't know?
I'm gonna answer your question. We can get back to that one.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Anyways.
Do I pull up Instagram?
Yeah, you can pull it up. But so we're when I finished playing ball, my defensive coordinator at the time wanted me to get into coaching. And I was like, no, I'm going to move back home. I want to go to physical therapy school and get my master's in physical therapy. And my dream job was to be like a physical therapist for like a professional team, particularly NFL. So go back home, go to grad school for a little bit, get into a pre-professional program, start the program. My wife, now, she moved in with my family. So we're at Fresno. I'm from Fresno, California. So we went to Fresno State. She was getting her master's in social work. And, I feel like my wife, she calls me out on everything. I feel like I was just going through the motions. I get a call from 2 years later. So this was 2008, I graduated. Summer of 2010, I get a call from my defensive coordinator. His name was Jason Petrino. He's like, hey, I took a job at Winona State. I want you to come be a graduate assistant and coach. And I know you know the secondary, but I want you to coach the outside backers and be a graduate assistant. I didn't even know what a graduate assistant was.
Right, yeah.
And my fiance at the time sitting in the car, and I get off the phone. She's like, who is that? I was like, Coach Petrino. She's like, what do you want? She wants me to get into coaching. She's like, you're doing it. And this was in June. July 2nd of 2010, we moved in a Ford Escort, her blue one, sold my truck, and we moved from Fresno, California to Winona, Minnesota. So if it wasn't for my wife pushing me to get into coaching, I wouldn't be here. So that was, she's my better half, and during that time she got her first full-time job, and I was just in grad school working, making like $400 a month.
Right.
But if it wasn't for her pushing me and seeing the best out of me, I wouldn't be in this position.
What did you learn about yourself during this time period of kind of like taking a leap of faith and just kind of seeing where it goes? In your head, what was the fundamental part of those first few years in coaching?
Man, just learning like the hard work. I learned that from my parents, my mom and my dad, just working hard and doing things the right way and not taking shortcuts. Your journey may be a little bit harder and longer, but it makes everything worth it, and it makes everything mean more. Like, just to come in this building, to sit in here with you ladies and have a Falcon on, like, this means the world to me. Like, because I didn't play at a big-time school. I never coached at a big-time school. But I worked my way up. I treated people right, treat people with respect, put the players first, put the team or organization first, didn't take any shortcuts. And yes, the road was harder for myself and my wife and our family, but it makes everything worth it. So there was times when I was a graduate assistant at Winona State, and I'm breaking down film. My wife, our fiance at the time, is right there helping me break down film. When I became a D-line coach at University of South Dakota, I didn't even know coach D-line or play D-line before. Yeah. The first person I taught was my wife. And I'm in the living room teaching her D-line drills and stuff. Oh, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, if it doesn't make sense, I got to find a more simple way or like simplistic way to teach it. So our journey, like mock interviews, do with my wife. And she's my biggest critic, like she critiques everything about me. And I sometimes I cringe when she tells me stuff, but she's right.
Right.
So those things help me. Even when I interviewed for this job here back in 2021, the first person I interviewed with was my wife.
Yeah. How much did those Bill Walsh coaching diversity fellowships help? Because you had two. And when it came to becoming like a coach, like how much did that help you?
It was amazing. I did it 2013 and 14. I did it with the Bears, and I got the opportunity to see, how to be efficient, how to be a better teacher, how to structure meeting times, practice schedules, how the best of the best coach, the best of the best. And it was kind of confirming, too, the things that I believed in, but I didn't necessarily have a good foundation in teaching the different modalities, different ways to teach, things being player-driven. So I did that 13 and 14 with the Bears, and then I got an opportunity to do it 2015 with Jim Caldwell and the Detroit Lions, and it was amazing. And one of my first NFL interviews was with the Detroit Lions, and Jim Caldwell flew me in. I interviewed with him for 2 hours. He flew me back, got the internship. During training camp, he's like, you know why I made you fly in to do the interview, right? I was like, for the internship? He's like, no, because that'll be kind of how an NFL interview will be. Wow. Fast forward about 6 to 8 months later, I get my very first NFL interview as a coach, a special assistant with the Chargers, and I get it. But if it wasn't for those opportunities to gain NFL experience without technically being an NFL coach, I wouldn't be in this position. That's why the internship to Bill Walsh, it means everything to me because it provided me so many opportunities. You look at the special teams assistant that we have now, Stephen King. I met him because he did the Bill Walsh with us with the Detroit Lions back in 2020.
Oh wow, y'all go way back. I didn't know that y'all went that far back.
Yeah,
Small world.
I met him in a Zoom meeting. We kind of linked up. We started talking about football. We did a couple of Zoom meetings talking about special teams. He did the virtual internship with us, stayed in contact with him, and then when we had an opportunity to bring him in before the 2022 season, that was a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
He does a great job. He's been a coordinator. I've met players that he's coached before on the road, evaluating players. So it made so much sense to bring him in, and then also, too, to bring him back on special teams going into this 2024 season.
Nice.
I think the most important thing this fellowship probably helped with is your 7 and under flag football team.
Yes.
How is that?
Hey, first game is this weekend versus the Giants, I believe. Mountain View High School.
Wait, so you're the head coach for this 7 under flag football team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How is it? What's the difference? Okay, actually, this is a
7-year-old and a
right. This is a two-part question. How does coaching players at the NFL level who are in the peaks of their career differ from coaching these 7-year-old flag football teams?
I think this is actually helping me become a better coach.
Really?
Yes, because you're teaching the base knowledge and base fundamentals of football, and you're teaching it to kids that are, they may want to go play video games, and and I think at the end of the day, football is fun. It's a game. Mm-hmm. It's fun. So the main thing that we're trying to go into this season with our players, including my son that's out there, is we're going to have fun, we're going to work hard, and we're going to try to play the game the right way. We don't care about the score. That'll take care of itself. And I coached last year, and I did it with them. Last year, I think, what team were we? We were the Lions. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I still had Lions gear.
Yeah, right, yeah.
My Thanksgiving hat and stuff. But this year were the Rams. So it's been cool to we had our first practice last week, and then teaching them just the base fundamentals of holding the football, playing games, pulling the flag, little things like that. And I think it's cool because it helps you maintain your patience and be clear and you could be demanding without being demeaning, and that's what I believe in as a coach in the NFL. So you could have, and those guys, the kids that I'm coaching, they're having fun, and I think it's a different way to teach the same sport and have kids. I think when you're young, at a young age too, you have memories of playing football, of playing soccer, and the worst thing that can happen is them have a bad memory or a bad experience, and it hinder them from reaching their full potential or possibly limiting them. And that's something that I do not want to do. And I'm, very excited, very proud to be the coach for the Lawrenceville Rams.
There you go.
Go Rams,
right? Yeah. Now the inverse of that question is, how are these 7-year-olds exactly the same as the guys that you're coaching out here on this practice field?
Okay, or how are the men on this practice field the same as the 7-year-olds?
Right, yeah.
We got this year we have a lot of 5-year-olds, couple of 6-year-olds. I think we have one 7-year-old.
Really, a lot of kiddos.
I think.
Well, I say this all the time. The more I get to know, I'll use Bajan and Tyler as an example. I say all the time, they give such little brother energy whenever I'm around them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably, it doesn't matter how old you get, they probably were exactly the same in that way when they were 6, 7 years old.
Well, I look at it too, coaching NFL players, whether they've in year 8, 9, 10, they've been playing football since they're little, so they've been used to giving structure, being coached, somebody helping them improve. So that doesn't change. Yeah, they make a lot of money, but they still want to get better. They still want to compete. They still want to have fun. And coaching little kids, they're competitive. They want to score the touchdown. They want to pull the flag. If they don't pull the flag, you can tell that they're getting mad. But you're like, hey, it's okay. On to the next play, keeping them in the present. And that's always a big challenge, whether you're coaching NFL players or you're coaching 5, 6-year-olds. Keep them in the present. What's important? Let's have fun. Keep trying hard. I don't really compliment the results. I compliment the effort and the intent. And that's what I want. I want everybody, the kids I'm coaching, to be exposed. Everybody's playing quarterback. Everybody's going to be the center. Everybody's going to play receiver. Everybody's going to run the football, so they could get the full experience, so they can have fun. And also, too, the parents are there, too. And I want the parents to be able to enjoy it, enjoy those memories, take good pictures, and and then hopefully we get some wins.
Oh, yeah.
But
Gotta
if
get
not,
the dubs.
at least we score some touchdowns. I know
There you go.
my son's first touchdown, he's going to bust out the gritty. I know he's going to do it.
You already,
Yeah.
everybody
We already have
knows.
a handshake, too.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yes.
how long did it take y'all to land on the right handshake?
Not too long.
Not
We
too
worked
long?
on it. We were playing Madden, scored a touchdown. We worked on it a little
Okay,
bit.
I got you.
And then a couple of days ago, we were practicing before the real practice, worked on our handshake. So we're getting it down.
Ready to go. So you brought up such a good point about how one of your coaching philosophies is demanding but not demeaning.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in your career did that become a part of you as a coach and as a teacher?
I think as a player, being exposed to a lot of different coaches, I've had a lot of great coaches. There's been coaches where, like, sometimes you can learn from great coaches, sometimes you can learn from just bad experiences.
100%.
And even in being a coach and working with other coaches or seeing how other coaches work or hearing from other players how certain situations were, I know personally as a person, I want people to hold me to a high standard, but still show respect. And I'm going to show respect to everybody else. So if that's how I want to be treated, I expect for everybody else to be, treat me that way. So I've seen the pluses and minuses of being too buddy and, not holding somebody to a standard, because the worst thing that can happen is if I'm coaching you up and you did the same mistake that Tori did, but I don't say anything to Tori, there's double standards. So how can I get the best out of both you guys, or both you ladies, and hold both you ladies to a high standard, but still being respectful? One is getting to know you. It's my job to get to know the players that I work with each and every day, understand their why, what makes them tick, and then, okay, these are your goals. Now I'm going to hold you to a high standard so you can achieve those goals. But it's a we thing. It's not just I'm the coach, you're the player. Yeah, that is my title, but that doesn't define me. You're here to get me better, and I'm here to get you better. If it wasn't for the players I've coached in the past, I wouldn't be in this position. They really got me better. They pushed me both on the field and off the field, and now I try to do that for our players as well. Because, yes, they represent the Falcons, but more importantly, they represent the last name on their back.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to run through a wall for you. Let's go. Come on, coach, put me in.
Hey, we go catch some punt returns a little bit.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine all of us out there? We should do like a media Olympics one day.
We should.
Where it's just or like media combine.
That all comes in
Maybe
hot.
when we're teaching our players a new kickoff rule and the alignments, we just get the whole media department out there, get you guys lined up.
I would not get off the field.
I love this idea. I need give me 6 to 8 weeks to shape up, get in the gym. I'll be ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready now. Put those pads on me.
Can you imagine us with all the pads on? That's
I
hilarious.
don't think I could keep my head up with the helmet.
I know, it's very
Yes, you could.
It's very heavy.
It's like a bobblehead.
So for you, when you kind of are going through your coaching career and everything, what were some things that you, I don't want to say picked up on along the ways, but you, like what you're saying, you're learning from different players, you're learning from different coaches. What were some of the early advice that you got from, whether it be players being this is how I like to do things, versus coach being this is how it should be done, if that makes sense? How did you kind of find your way through picking and choosing the advice from others?
That's a great question, Tori. Just from experience, like good experience is bad experience. I think in this game where it's a team game and the players, they want to play well. They don't want to mess up. I learned from a lot of different coaches. One, for example, Ron Miles, who coaches for the Colts. I worked with him for 3 years with the Chargers. And I remember I was so stern. I wanted on punt return, the guys that were covering the jammers to be aligned and have their hands up and be ready. But we had a player, Brandon Flowers, who had a great career in the NFL, played for the Chiefs and played for us in the Chargers. He liked to have his hands on his knees. So I'm I can't get him to get his hands off his knees. And Ron Miles was like, hey, so, Flowers has been playing for X amount of years. He has 2 Pro Bowls. So
He's okay.
His hands can stay on.
So
knees.
I pick and choose my battles. As long as he's able to bend his knees and play with good body positioning, I don't care where his hands are at. I'm oh, okay. Yeah. So there's always, every single player is different. So Ron Miles taught me that. I learned from a gentleman named George Stewart, who coached for the Falcons when Roddy White was here. He's coached for the 49ers. I coached with him with the Chargers. And the things that he implemented in me was don't allow the little things, the little things that make you sweat. So things that happen, if there's a situation that happens, an ant mound. Don't turn into a big ordeal because, sometimes as a young coach, you're trying to be so strict and so regiment with certain things. And another thing he taught me, and I use it to this day, is like have a small menu but a big understanding. And I truly believe in that as a coach because you want our players to play fast and play free, have fun, be confident. So if you have a lot of plays in for us on special teams because we're guaranteed at one kick and one kickoff return, if I have a lot of stuff in, then now they're trying to memorize stuff rather than understanding. Mm-hmm. And now they could play fast, play free. And Gus Bradley was the same way. He's like, we want to keep things simple as we can for the players so they could play fast, and we never want to jeopardize the integrity and speed of our defense when I coached on defense. So Gus Bradley, George Stewart, and then, Matt Patricia, I worked with him. Mm-hmm. He was real big on the details and, things that he taught me with, how to watch film. And I don't have to watch a play 5 million times. How am I watching it? What am I looking for? So there's a lot of different things I learned from a lot of different coaches. Oh, Anthony Lynn. Yeah. Anthony Lynn taught me what can players do for us rather than what they can't do. It's really fast, quick to be like, he can't do this, he can't do that. No, what can he do? Because he learned that from Bill Walsh. And how can he help us win? How can he help us win that play? How can he complement our offense, defense, or special teams? So our scheme on special teams, we're player driven. Mm-hmm. It's whatever our players could do, however Bradley could punt, Koo could kick, how our guys could cover, how Avery can return, Ray, Rondell. If Ray's good at doing a certain return, I'm not going to force him to do something else that he's not good at. I'm not helping them. Right. So a combination of all these different coaches that I've learned from, and now learning from Coach Morris, which is awesome. And, Jim Caldwell was a guy that I really believed in, that was like demanding but not demeaning, and he didn't really raise his voice ever. But the players will want to run through a wall for him. Yeah. And then being around Raheem and seeing all those similarities from a lot of different coaches that he's worked from. And I admire Raheem too, Coach Morris, because he's coached on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. He has a wealth of knowledge. And he allows the players to play fast and play free. Mm-hmm. So it's like the opportunity to be exposed to all that stuff allows for us as coaches in this building for great growth.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to personally thank your wife for pushing you back into coaching, because clearly you are so passionate about it that it's like physical therapy.
Right. Imagine. I mean, I'm sure you would be helping a lot of people in physical
changed
therapy.
Lives.
Yeah, you would have.
But you're changing lives this way too.
Yes, but I mean, I think it's so crazy how this sounds so cliche, but it's crazy how life works. How like this one singular moment where your wife is like, well, we're moving. Yep. Like you're gonna do this, and I know that it's probably gonna be crazy and it's gonna be hard and it's gonna be a lot of moving. But like the fact that she saw that in you, I think it's just a spectacular part of the story.
That's why she's my better half.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
And
do we jump right into rapid fire? Do I show you the post I was talking about?
Go ahead, show the post.
Yeah. I'm honestly curious. No way.
I know. I can't
It's a toga party.
Was it a toga party?
Yes, it was.
It's like an annual anniversary picture. I was like, I respect the consistency. And then I was like, was it a toga party? I need to know.
That was our first year. That was our first year meeting.
Oh,
I know. Don't get all set.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, we want to turn this into a rom-com now.
Right.
Hey, it's my favorite type of movie.
I know, my wife too. She'll be sitting there watching. I'm like, what are we watching? Next thing you know, I'm sitting next to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, she did not.
See? No. Everyone gets hooked.
They draw you in. They do. It's like on TikTok where like the girlfriends or wives are watching like Love is Blind or The Bachelor. And,
I've been there.
Right? And you're like,
you gotta treat it like
I'm
a
not
sport.
watching, but you're like standing up and you stand there for an hour and a half.
I'm on the back seat of the section. I'm like, oh my God, no, she didn't. What happened? Hey, pause it. Now tell me what happened. Why?
Right, why
she had
she
to
do that?
backtrack. She's like, Marquice, just sit down.
That is a perfect segue into one of our rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, at the end of every podcast, one of these Falcons in Focus, we ask 5 quick questions. They don't have to be quick necessarily, but there are 5 for everyone. Mm-hmm. And one of them is favorite TV show or movie, or one you recommend to watch right now.
Oh man.
It's like Love is Blind.
I did watch the whole season of Love is Blind with my wife, and I know it's rapid, but one of the things that happened one night, I felt like it was like, I don't want to like disrespect. I was like, why are you watched the episode without me? How dare you?
You're like, we were doing this together.
I thought we were in this together. I don't even know. Who are you?
Who are you? You watch this without me. That's hilarious.
But one of my favorite movies is the Batman trilogy. I like Batman movies.
Solid choice. That's a good one. Okay. Next question. Favorite player, regardless of sport, from when you were growing up?
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Mamba.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yes.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
What about favorite play? Whether you did it yourself or coached it?
Yeah, like just of your career, you're looking back and you're kind of like, this is one I'll remember forever.
Highlight reel.
Highlight reel, yeah.
Oh, man. I think 2019 Detroit Lions at Philadelphia Eagles. We had a play put in that week where it was an adjustment on the kickoff return based on how they aligned. And initially, we actually called it wrong, and I was the assistant. I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're doing it the wrong way." So I had like an out of body experience. I was like, "Hey, we got to flip it, left return." And then the coach I was working with, he's like, "No, they're going to kick it the other way." And I was like, "Oh man, hopefully I'm right. I think I'm going to be wrong." And then they kicked it to Jamal Agnew. He ran it back 103 yards. I was like, "Oh my goodness." Wow. So that was like technically my first call.
Right. Yeah. That's it. Honestly, if that's the first one, you're just kind of like, I'll hang on from here. Like,
Yes.
This is good. We'll just keep this energy. That's a great answer. If you could have a superpower, what superpower would you have?
Ooh.
I know.
Teleport.
Okay, good one. That's a good one. A lot of
Yeah.
people have that one.
It's my favorite.
Travel time's real.
Yeah.
Flower
In-
Branch?
Yeah.
In the airport?
In the airport? Yeah.
That
yeah.
too.
Okay, and then the last one, and this is one that I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see your answer because I kind of think I know it. What was your first concert ever?
Oh man,
Did not expect that.
it was twice.
Yeah.
K-pop.
K-pop. Okay, the backstory.
Now I know why she
State
pulled
Farm
that.
Arena?
Now I know why she asked that.
The best thing. So my sister and I are huge K-pop fans, and Marquice, I knew your kids were big K-pop fans because we talked about like BTS
Yeah.
and Stray Kids and all that, and so that was like how we bonded when you first got here. And it was so funny because I'd gotten these tickets for my sister. It was also her first concert ever, and we like bop into State Farm Arena, and I look up and I go, Marquice? And he goes, hey! And we both were kind of like, what? And it was so funny. And I was like, wow, big Twice fan? He's like, yeah, first concert. And I was like, what? This is 21, 22?
2021.
21. I think it was one. I think it was when we
First off season.
Yeah, I think so. And we wasn't that the best concert? We had so much fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was my first concert. That was crazy. And I got to experience it with my kids.
I don't think I can get on the K-pop train.
That's okay. It's not
Yeah.
for everybody, but that was.
You know, my kids, every time I get in the
Hey.
car, my Pandora's all, Spotify's all,
yeah.
it's all, whatever they want to listen to.
Right, yeah. No.
Kids dictate the happiness.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was cool because we all were like wearing our like costumes and stuff. Or not costumes.
Were you
but,
wearing
like,
a costume?
No, he wasn't.
I was not.
He was like
First concert?
There were a
and
lot of people wearing costumes.
There were, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But it
was
so-
packed.
it was, and your son, like, I think you had said, like, he was going for the Stray Kids look, so
Yeah.
all black with the red shoes. Like, it was cool.
He had, like the black jeans on with the holes in
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. It was awesome. But
He's a whole deal.
he's an enigma.
Yes.
No, but I'm glad
love
we got
that.
that in there because I was like, I'm 90% sure I remember that was your first concert.
That was. You are correct.
My favorite.
That's a
spot.
Jeopardy question.
It is, honestly, yeah. Oh, I love that.
That is a great note to end this on. I hope you enjoyed your first podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
thank
only
you.
answer is yes. But
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is yes.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. Tori, Terrin, it's been awesome, and I really appreciate it.
Everyone listening in, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and whatever you can do to support podcasts on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere you can find the Atlanta Falcons Podcast Network.